Good morning and welcome back, everybody. I'm JJ. That's Deacon. This is Dave. We are your internet dads. We meet Monday through Friday to talk about stuff that's going on. And today, our show is Liberals Flip Out as Bezos nukes the Washington Post endorsement. It's pretty funny. So we'll have a look at that. So Jeff Bezos, you guys know Jeff Bezos, even if you don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
he's
I
a.
know of him.
Is he the guy that had the bookstore in his garage? Is he that guy that had that bookstore in his garage? That little.
Is that what it was? Was it in a bookstore in a garage? Is that how it
He got
started?
started with Amazon? Yeah,
I
he
did not know that.
sold books in his garage. I think is how it initially got started.
Well,
He was off
he
the
seems like
table.
a scrappy entrepreneur. I think things are going to work out for him.
I might be wrong.
Since 2013, Jeff Bezos has owned the Washington Post. The Washington Post, which famously once was a newspaper and now more or less is an arm of the Democratic Party and propaganda machine, a front for the CIA to filter lies into the media. Well, the Washington Post really wanted to, fairly with a measured judgment, really wanted to endorse Kamala Harris for president of the United States. And Jeff Bezos was like, you know what? No. So
You really got to hand it to Jeff for saying what he said, if he really means what he said.
Well, he published an opinion piece on the Washington Post website. Actually, it's an opinion piece called "The Hard Truth: Americans Don't Trust the News Media." This is a note from Jeff Bezos, and he talks about basically like, here, look, in this year's Gallup poll, we've managed to fall below Congress in our approval rating. Fewer people trust the Washington Post than trust Congress, and Congress is always at a historic low of trust. Like always, they're always in the like 16% digit trust.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, look, people, two things are important. One, the news media needs to report the news. And two, and it's equally important, people that read the news media need to believe that the news media is fairly reporting news. If you are reporting fake news, the people are not going to believe you. And if you are reporting true news, but people don't believe you, what's the point? So he's like, look, we have a trust problem, a real trust problem.
It is the classic story of the little boy who cried wolf.
That's exactly what it is, isn't it?
I mean, seriously, This is the little boy that cried wolf.
So he said, he basically told the Washington Post editorial staff, you're not doing an endorsement this year. You're not going to do it. And they're whining and crying, but that's not all. If you scroll down to the comments section of this article, of this opinion piece on Wapo, you're going to get blah, blah, blah. Your only concern is protecting your wealth. You just added to, they attack him for being rich. People don't trust institutions that buckle under pressure and turn their back on the public good. This isn't Amazon. This is supposed to be a newspaper. There's 13,000 comments of liberal tears on this Wapo opinion article. Don't insult our intelligence, Mr. Spineless. You're responsible for destroying one of the most prestigious newspapers in the world. It goes on and on.
How many of those are AI generated and paid for?
Do you have to have an account to leave a comment there?
Probably.
Good question. I don't know.
Like, aren't they subscription based?
Well, the same guys posted 2 or 3 times there.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Oh, you know what? Look, I don't have the ability to leave a comment, and I am not a subscriber.
Well, maybe
can I?
Subscribers.
Yeah. Subscribe to comment. So you have to be a
these
subscriber.
Individuals are all individuals who pay for Washington Post.
Well, who's going to be reading the Washington Post? Who is a majority of their readers anyway? It's a bunch of leftist crazy people. If you get your news and if you pay for the Washington Post. That's all I need to know about you. A stranger could walk up and say, "Hi, I pay for a subscription for the Washington Post." You've answered 1,000 questions about yourself to me.
Okay, but doesn't that go straight to Jeff Bezos's point? Like, we don't have an unbiased newspaper.
Exactly.
We have a completely biased newspaper. So Jeff Bezos is correct. And look, I'm not a big Jeff Bezos fan.
No
Amazon all the time, but I don't.
Yeah, we all keep it in
I've seen
business, but we bitch about it while we make our Amazon.
Yeah, right. Yeah, look. So this is kind of funny. So here's a piece from the Post Millennial. Jeff Bezos says refusal to endorse Kamala was principled, a result of the lack of public trust in media. And then his own subscriber base attacks him for any reason they can think of, because he's not actively participating in the Democratic propaganda machine, which is exactly what it is. So it's kind
but
of.
You could also look and see how much Amazon's given, how much Bezos is given. Just because the Washington Post, he's not allowing them to do a public endorsement, doesn't mean that he's not endorsing her in other ways. I don't know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Amazon, what they're giving, and all that stuff looks like.
I mean, I saw a breakdown the other day of major companies that were donating to the candidates, and you know, all of the usual suspects are giving hundreds of thousands of dollars to Kamala Harris. You got your Microsoft and your Google and your whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if Amazon is giving her a lot of support. However, I think on this one issue of like the Washington Post, I think he desires for this paper to be turned around because it's not credible. It's not a credible source of news, and it hasn't been for a long time. And I think he's trying to say, like, this is the opportunity to, like, you know, maybe make a difference here. I don't know. Is this enough for you to consider Washington Post as a news source? And would you start looking at it?
No.
Is this news?
Okay.
Because we just covered it.
Nice.
It's a news source.
Nice editorial, Jeff. And you're right, but sorry, it might have made a difference if it was 1992 and this were going on. But it's the internet is alive, AI is alive, and the newspapers don't mean anything anymore.
Okay,
can you say it's alive better? It's Halloween week. Can you say it's alive better?
It's alive. It's alive. Sorry, I was thinking of Johnny Five.
Johnny Five is alive.
Oh, we should have had zombie groans for Halloween.
We used to get to our werewolves. We hadn't done anything.
I know it's been a while. There's a werewolf movie coming out. There's a movie called Werewolves.
Where's our like and subscribe?
There, it's under the. Why is it not showing up?
Oh, it says
I don't see it.
It's the old one.
Yeah, it's the old one. I didn't update it. Okay, so this Jeff Bezos thing. That was kind of a big deal yesterday. Kind of funny, especially the comment section, because you know that's his subscribers that are just like groaning, and that's kind of funny. But that's not the biggest news of the day. The biggest news of the day is probably this. It's the second coming of Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon has been released from prison. Steve Bannon, a legit American political prisoner, in jail for not kowtowing to the January 6th committee.
Can you remind our viewers, all one of them and me, who this Ron White lookalike guy is?
Sure. Steve Bannon is the host of the War.
Don't he look like he needs to hold bourbon?
He really does. Look, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Steve Bannon is the host of the War Room podcast. But prior to that, during the Trump administration, he was an advisor to Trump, an advisor to the president of the United States. And as such, he is eligible for protection by the president from Congress. That is, we have to have the standard that an executive, a president, can seek advice from members of his cabinet and from people,
Right.
and get good advice. If there is a precedent that those advisors can then be hauled before Congress and questioned up and down, or even put in jail, as this man was, then what happens is there's now a precedent for presidents to not be able to get advice, because when they seek advice from people, those people can be dragged before Congress. So we have presidential immunity, and we have privilege, executive privilege, for advisors from the president. When the January 6th committee was doing their lame ass, fake investigation of January 6th, they tried to subpoena Steve Bannon, and Steve Bannon said, "I don't know if I can do that because I have to check with Donald Trump." And Trump said, "Executive privilege, he doesn't have to testify." And the January 6th committee said they want him to testify. and Steve Bannon got it cleared with the president. And president said, "Oh, he can testify." And so Steve Bannon said, "Okay, he said I could testify. Let's set up a date." And the January 6th committee said, "It's already too late. You were supposed to already testify." And then they referred him for criminal proceedings, and they put him in jail for 4 months. So Steve Bannon has been in jail for 4 months because he's an advisor to President Trump. That is why Steve Bannon was in jail 4 months.
Okay.
And yes, and this morning, he is being released. He has been released, and he's going to go on. So the war room is going to continue with Steve Bannon. He's released from FCI Danbury Federal Prison Tuesday morning and is set to host the War Room podcast. He'll be holding a press conference in New York this afternoon. Joe Posobiec announced that not only is Bannon out of prison, that he'll be
Jack.
What? Yeah, Jack Poso. He'll be hosting War Room shortly after he's released. He's expected to join him on air. He was released at 3:15 in the morning. He said, "I'm not broke. I'm empowered." So he's coming out of federal prison. Dave, I was thinking about this morning. This is kind of like the political equivalent of like Paul being put in prison. You don't think so?
It's not.
While he was in prison, he was teaching civics to other prisoners. He was teaching
that part. I'll agree with. So the reason Paul went to jail, Paul is winning his court case with the Sanhedrin, and Paul knows as soon as they release him, he's pretty much already won, that he's going to be lynched. So Paul, before they close the court case, says, "I appeal to Caesar as a Roman citizen," and he has that right. So now Paul is imprisoned, and he gets to make his case. He has to pay for that whole thing, and yes, he does teach everyone along the way.
Yeah, and on the journey, he taught a lot of people, and he made an impact. He made an impact in a place that you wouldn't have thought to make an impact, and it.
I see what you're doing there.
So, yeah. Upon his release, he said, "If you're not prepared to go to prison to fight for your country, you're not prepared to fight for your country."
Now,
so
we do need to be clear. Danbury is a low security federal prison. People, when they hear prison, they think Oz. They think they have some pretty harsh thoughts. But this was a nice place.
I mean, yeah,
still not a place anybody wants to go. But
it also still was a. It was a. I mean, I don't see how you can view this as anything but a political imprisonment. It was literally that's
probably why this prison exists.
Yeah,
it's a.
But I thought we lived in America, not Russia.
That's your first problem.
In Russia, they shoot you. I saw that movie.
So you're probably gonna see Steve Bannon in the news today and tomorrow making big comments and big claims about.
It is October.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Let's see. I got this. Do you guys? Dave, you weren't here yesterday, but we talked about the MSG rally on Sunday, and the rally at Madison Square Garden. the
Okay, because I was
giant
like MSG. You
super
mean like the
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
we
sorry,
put in
Madison Square
our
Garden,
tacos?
the Trump
I
rally.
know, that's
at
what I was
Madison
thinking
Square
too.
Garden.
I started thinking about freaking sweet and sour chicken. As soon as he said MSG, I started thinking about sweet and sour chicken. I'm like, I want some
Your
Chinese.
mouth started watering. I know where you went.
Okay.
Have Lovian response there.
MSNBC is now facing a backlash from the Jewish Trump supporters after Democrats went around screaming as much as they could that that the Madison Square Garden rally was a giant Nazi rally. So it turns out there's a number of Jews that specifically are supporting Trump and are taking offense to the Trump rally being compared to the Nazi rally that was held in 1939. MSNBC is facing backlash for comparing the Trump Madison Square Garden rally to a pro-Nazi event in 1939 after splicing 85-year-old footage of the crowd doing the Sieg Heil salute in between clips of the Republicans' Sunday audience. So they literally were MSNBC.
Isn't that what, like, who does 60 Minutes? I forget.
Let's see if they, I'm going to see if they played.
Because wouldn't that be a political? Wouldn't that be a political?
60 Minutes is CBS. 60 Minutes is CBS. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Oh, here. Check it out. Look at this.
Yeah, if you're editing it on purpose, then
that's
that's
political.
It's like against the law. Yeah, that's against the law.
Good.
It's freaking MSNBC.
I know. We should have low expectations. So the hope, though, obviously, of the Democrats is that stupid Americans will see this and be like, "Oh my God, Trump and MAGA are literally Nazis." That's exactly what they want people to think. It goes so far as the vice president's Dougie is saying that Trump will praise Nazi behind closed doors. You obviously can't get Trump on mic actually praising Nazis, since he says things like, "I totally disavow white supremacists and racists." But Doug is now passing the message along that Trump actually does praise Nazis. It's just behind closed doors, and you'll never see it coming.
Of course.
Interesting.
So that's what the left is doing, and here is some of the results. Check this out. Hasidic Jews endorsed Trump after the Madison Square Garden event. This photo
Those are your
of
most
these
traditional
guys,
Jews.
These are the most Jewish Jews.
Ooh,
The most
just say most
Jews of the
traditional Jews.
Yeah.
Most
Because those
What do you mean
who are, I wouldn't call them the most Jewish Jews, but they're definitely the most traditional Jews.
Well, what does traditional mean?
So
I'm not Jewish.
Judaism falls under two categories. There's cultural Judaism, and then there's religious Judaism.
Okay.
You are Jewish not because your dad is Jewish. You're Jewish because your mom's Jewish. You get your clan. At least it used to be this way. You would get your clan from your father's side, and you've got Neo-Judaism or Reform Judaism, which is they're still gonna claim to be Jewish, plain and simple. And then you've got the Hasidic Jews, which are very Orthodox Jews.
Orthodox.
I wouldn't say
Very
one is more
Orthodox.
Jewish. Yeah, I wouldn't say one's more Jewish than the other. They might use those terms because I'm not Jewish. You're not Jewish. We're not really.
Yeah,
We
I'm
probably
not.
shouldn't use those terms.
I have a zero judgment thing
Orthodox.
here. But these are the guys with the curls on the side of the head. That's what we're talking about.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So okay. A major Satmar group of ultra-Orthodox Hasidic Jews in New York officially endorsed Trump on Monday for president, despite Democrat claims that he had a Nazi rally in Madison Square Garden on Sunday. Grand Rabbi Aharon, Teitelbaum, Satmar Hasidic sect in New York, has announced that it will officially support Donald Trump for U.S. president. The decision follows a set of discussions by the Satmar leadership due to concerns that U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris may pose a threat to the Jewish people if she is elected president. It's not just that they like Trump better. They believe that she, in particular, represents a threat to the Jewish people. So, I mean, there's backfire, and there's like, that's a lot of backfire right there. Don't you think that's a lot of backfire?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Deacon does not care about this story.
No comment.
All right. I only got one more story, so I don't know if you guys have anything in the docket you want to get to. But I got one about Ohio and immigration in a minute. Yeah, I'll do this because Deke, you got a couple in here that are
I got some AI stuff too you like.
Okay. All right.
Bangers.
We recently spoke about Springfield, Illinois. I'm sure you remember that's the town that has a problem with dogs and cats that are getting barbecued, allegedly. Yeah. Well, there is another Ohio town that has a bit of a problem.
Okay.
There is an Ohio town. Let's see. I don't know if they're given the name of the town. It's not right at the top. A tiny Ohio town of 3,500 people is buckling after taking in 3,000 African refugees. It's a town of 3,500. And
how many people live in your town, Dave?
I've heard 1,000, and I've also heard 2,300 now because we've expanded some stuff.
Yeah, there's only about 6,000 people that live in my town.
So what if tomorrow there were 12,000 and 6,000 of them were African that are new? It would be like a bit of a strain on your system. And I'm not talking like like that. I'm talking like your utilities, your water,
electricity, housing, groceries, gas,
gasoline,
every single thing in that city. Because for people that don't live in small towns like Dave and I, Dave, how many gas stations you have? That's probably, yeah.
We got three.
Three. Yeah, we've got like one, two, yeah, there's like four.
Okay.
You know,
this is Lockland, Ohio. Lockland, Ohio has doubled their population. If you have an apartment building that's got, say, 80 units of 4 people per unit, that's about 320 people. When you double or triple the population in that building, you start to have problems. The building systems are not designed to handle that. That's a quote from the article. So when you have utilities, that's backing up. We have instances where people are going to take a shower and feces is running out of the drains, filling the bathtubs as it's coming from the floor above.
Wait a minute. Lockland, 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 Ohio.
That's what it says.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
isn't that a suburb of Cincinnati? Oh, I'm thinking Loveland. Loveland's a city suburb.
Lockland, Ohio. I'm not the moderator. I can't bring it.
Yeah.
Look, Lockland, Ohio. Is this what we're talking about? Okay.
Must be.
Little bitty area. There's a marathon.
Oh yeah, that is Cincinnati. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a little small town.
I used to go to church in Lockland when I went to Bible college.
It's a suburb of Cincinnati, so of course it's going to have some spillover.
Yeah, it is a suburb of Cincinnati, but it's only big enough for 3,000 people, and now there's 6,500.
It's a very dated area. It's an older part of town.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's
well, they got poop coming out of out of the shower head, so that's not good. They've essentially displaced
really cool aquarium here in Covington.
Yep, Newport. It's in Newport.
Right Newport.
Probably right where that big circle is.
And look, JJ, I'm going to show you. You see right here?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I've seen fish there like 3 times. That's where the amphitheater used to be.
Oh my God.
That's where the amphitheater
Fish the band.
Right there on the river. It was right there on the river. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. All right. So Ohio got another problem there. Laughlin, Ohio, suburb of Cincinnati. All right. That's my big stories for the morning, guys. What do you
Yay.
got?
Big stories for the morning. I got one here that has to do with election stuff. Have you heard that some of these people, I thought it was in Texas, were getting turned away from voting because they were wearing Trump shirts, and the people at the voting places were telling them they couldn't wear it, and they went and looked up the law, and the law is that they can wear it. They just can't say anything. You can't start a conversation.
Oh, really?
You can't do that. But what they say is the shirt probably will start a conversation.
Right.
You can wear the shirt, you just can't talk about hey, go Trump. You can't do that crap.
That doesn't make sense to me, but go ahead. I'll accept that.
Anyway,
I'll accept the premise.
So that's been going on. So there's people, some of these election people around in these little places don't know all the rules, obviously, and they're telling people that come in with Trump shirts that they cannot vote. So there was a woman, I don't know where it said it was. She said, went to vote early today. There's a no political merch sign. Woman comes to vote wearing Trump gear. They tell her she can't. She calls the poll worker a dickhead and then rips her shirt off. She told another poll worker to suck her meep. And this is why she votes Trump.
Oh, hey, that's you don't mess around with old people. They just don't give a ish. They do not care. That's amazing.
Wow.
Okay, so first of all, don't we live in America where we have literally First Amendment free speech? Aren't you allowed to express yourself? Especially
that's the lie
politically?
that's been told to you. That's a falsehood. You say that, but then try to do that. Just try to do that. Try to say something right now and see if we stay up on all the. Say seriously, people that look at the history of people that have stepped out and said what they wanted to.
I'm not talking about censorship on
freedom
YouTube.
of speech doesn't mean what you think it means.
Right.
But elections in particular take place at polling locations that are usually in the public commons. And therefore, like in say a library or something like that, those public places
around here they're in schools and churches.
School is a public place. You cannot restrict freedom of speech. There's no.
There has to be laws for freedom of speech. In the instance of yelling fire in a theater, you can't do that. Okay,
Look it up. That's overturned. That's not true.
Seriously, who's going to do that? That's morally that's wrong. Good
there
God,
are laws against putting up signs outside of. You can't. What is the word I'm looking for? Try to get votes. You can't.
Okay, so there's a difference. There's a difference between
outside and there's going to be a comparison. Hey, this is electioneering just without your mouth.
Let's draw a distinction between campaign actions, right, versus citizens' free speech.
I agree.
There should be no limit on citizens' free speech.
But if you're going to go into vote,
made up of?
And you're wearing in this society, in this climate, you're going to go in to vote and you're going to wear your Trump shirt. Keep your mouth shut. Don't go in talk, because me and you would go in and be fine and civil. And if we were like, go Trump, go.
You know
Trump.
what they get these people on?
There's going to be a jackass. There's going to
get them
one
on disturbing the peace.
That's going to ruin it for everybody. There's always that one freaking guy.
Yeah.
All three of us could go in and not have a problem. And somebody, hey, you're a Trump supporter? Yeah, go Trump. I'm really for him because blah, 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 and this and that. And I really like him and blah, blah, blah. But there's going to be that jerk that comes in that starts crap with the Harris person. And frankly, anywhere else is fine except on election day at the voting place. Just like you can yell fire all day long in the woods, but don't do it in a crowded place if you don't expect some repercussions.
Texas law prohibits electioneers for and against any candidate, measure, or political party. Electioneering is defined as the posting, use, or distribution of political signs or literature. It applies to voters, poll workers, and loiterers during the voting period within 100 feet of a polling place. So,
doesn't say anything about wearing a shirt. Talking about printed literature, isn't it? What it said?
Yeah, that's what it says. But the thing is, the language is broad enough that you can get scooped up in that. Under state law, it's illegal to wear shirts, hats, buttons, masks supporting a candidate. Voters who do not heed the rule will be asked to turn their shirts inside out and leave stuff in their car. And if you refuse, you get charged with Class C misdemeanor and a $500 fine. I wore red sunglasses and red shoes.
With your cheap sunglasses. All right, I got another story. This one's kind of yikes, but I wanted to pass this along and share it. This beautiful girl right here is not with us anymore.
Oh no.
She was a photographer, skydiver. She was standing there taking pictures of the skydivers that were fixing to skydive on this plane, and she backed into the propeller.
Oh my God.
The active propeller. She was 37.
Good God.
Yeah, it's a very sad accident. She loved skydiving. She loved taking pictures. They've raised money. They've got a GoFundMe page, but she had a bunch of pictures that they had posted. You can see they're in the air right there, but she had a bunch of pictures of skydiving that she had posted in the past and stuff. But it's just one of those, yikes, man. First thing I think of is Indiana Jones. That scene in Indiana Jones, man. I wanted to pass that along. It's one of those freak accidents, man. I don't want to glorify it or make fun of it or anything, but we talk about stuff like that.
That's
I had
awful.
one story that is a much happier story.
Yeah, I got some AI stories too. These are not so happy, but
yeah,
Who's this?
a bummer.
yeah, sorry.
Here, allow for 1 month. Let's see if I can pull this up here. This, I don't know if you covered this the other day, but I thought this is some of the most important news that we should be covering. Hopefully you can see. There we go. U.S. Copyright Office frees the McFlurry, allowing repair of ice cream machines.
I read
this just happened.
This is
days
this is
after.
a huge move, I think.
Yes, and this isn't just for McDonald's. This is a grant of exemption specifically allowing for repair of retail level food prep equipment, including the soft serve ice cream machines similar to those available.
They had to word that way in order to get this through, because from what I understand, the company that made and had the contract with the specific McFlurry machines at McDonald's, part of that contract was that they were the only ones that were allowed to repair it. And their parts are specifically made for that machine. You can't just go out to hardware store and buy it. So so this was a big deal. This is why those McFlurry machines were always broken, because you couldn't just hire a third-party guy to come fix it. It has to, by that contract, be fixed by the company that made the machine. Yeah. So this is what this
going to make the connection that somebody recently got a job at McDonald's for a day, and next thing you know, this happens, and now all the ice cream machines are actually fixed. Even though memes have gone around, I'm just going to say that somebody somewhere is going to politically make a statement.
Yeah, probably. I mean,
job fixed.
Yeah, strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
All right.
That's an important news.
McFlurries?
I'm just going to bless you if you love it.
I'm just going to make the statement here. I'm just going to say the statement, and my two cohorts are going to stay silent on this, but you should not eat at McDonald's. McFlurry, McNothing. Not a McKetchup packet, not a McWater. Don't drink the McWater. Don't get a glass of McIce. Nothing. You should not be eating at McDonald's. All right, I got a good story here for you. Before we get into AI, I want to throw this one up. This one was super cool. I'm not going to get deep into it, but we're just going to grab the surface. But you see these two beautiful ladies right here? They are some of the smartest people on the planet. These two high school girls. They're not in high school anymore, I don't think. Yes.
All right.
They came up with impossible proof of the Pythagorean theorem, and they presented this in high school. And they did not have any kind of research, and their peers and stuff hadn't got to run this. But they have come out and said, yeah, this is pretty much right. They came up with the proof in an answer to a bonus question in a school math contest. They presented their work at the American Mathematical Society meeting in last year, but the proof hadn't been thoroughly scrutinized at that point. Now, a new paper published yesterday shows that the solution held up to peer review. Not only that, the two students also outlined 9 more proofs to the Pythagorean theorem using trigonometry. And experts have said for years that they did not that they didn't think that they could use trigonometry to prove this, and these girls did it. So I thought that was really cool. You can I'll this article's kind of long, and if you're a nerd, you can get into it and read it. I'll post it in our Discord server. But Cecilia Calcia Johnson and Nakia Jackson, Miss Jackson and Miss Johnson are super geniuses.
I'd have to show that to my wife, because I'm not qualified to even really have an opinion about that. So, the
Pythagorean theorem. There is people that say he had to get that from somewhere, and Pythagoras was one of those. I don't know. I can't remember now if Pythagoras had talked to someone that had been in Atlantis, or Pythagoras had been to Atlantis himself. When you get into learning about Pythagoras, he was in Atlantis, or I can't remember what it was. But supposedly the Pythagorean theorem he didn't invent it. He brought it from somewhere else. When you get into that,
the Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. It's pretty simple. So I'm a little confused.
Okay, you just need to read the article.
Which is the hypotenuse of a right angle triangle is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two legs of the triangle. So I would have to look at this because I don't understand.
Yeah,
Isn't that correct?
I posted it in our news drops.
What are you doing?
Okay, hold on.
We got a math teacher.
Genuinely, would you like math contribution?
Bring it back up, Deke. Bring it back up.
Oh, geez, I wanted to hit on.
I know you can.
The surface of this.
All right, these two girls.
Oh yeah.
You know about this?
Oh yeah.
Come on, talk about it.
That is not new. That is spectacular. I put them on my LinkedIn page.
Oh, for real?
Oh yeah, like 3 months ago. This is not new.
I'm officially impressed. I told you I wasn't qualified to know if I was impressed or not.
Tell her that.
She can hear you.
Oh, the just yesterday is when they said that a new paper was published yesterday in the Journal for American Mathematical Monthly, and it shows that their solution held up to peer review. And not only that, but they had outlined 9 more proofs to that.
Review under review. Yeah.
That's a big deal when you get past peer review.
Yeah. They say that they're the youngest. To have a paper published at such a young age is really mind-blowing.
So explain why it is impressive that these two girls made 10 different proofs
9.
using trigonometry to. You said it was not 10.
What does it matter in the sense of 9 versus 10?
No.
All of us
trigonometry to prove,
because they don't have the background that we do, and there are people whose whole lives there's $1 million questions in mathematics that if you solve it, you genuinely get $1 million.
Right.
So obviously, people are. It's like highly motivated to devote their lives to it. My friend at UNT was responsible for reviewing all of the proofs that came in for her $1 million question. She was monitoring. She's the first layer of peer review. It didn't even go to the doctorate candidate. It was a doctorate. Like, she was working on her PhD.
Right.
But like everybody had the same dumb proof.
Okay.
That was wrong.
Right.
And like they started on the wrong foot.
Right.
So when you have a mass amount of people attempting it, you would think that somebody actually knows what they're doing.
Well, that's what it says right here. It says Jackson and Johnson are only the third and fourth people known to have proven the Pythagorean theorem using trigonometry and without resorting to circular reasoning. The two other people were professional mathematicians, according to the statement, and they were in high school.
That's what I'm saying. Like the age of these individuals. But do you know how to add from 1 to 1,000, like 1 + 2 + 3, all the way up to 1,000? Have you seen this proof?
No.
So,
Just assume we haven't.
Yeah.
Gauss, Gauss, has done stuff in computer science and math, but back in the day, a teacher gave him like a busy work to go from 1 to 100. You know, we got little chalkboards and whatever. This is centuries ago. And he came up with the solution. I think it's 50-50. And she knew what the answer was because she had done the 1 + 2 all the way up. But he had come up with a proof or an equation to simplify this summation of large numbers that we use in mathematics, plus. And he was in like 4th grade or something. So she actually got him out of the school because she was like, I can't teach him anymore. And he was handed off to a different mathematician. And so that he did stuff. Gauss Jordan is something that's a partnership that was done on it's matrix solutions of large systems. But Gauss is someone who was very, very young. I guess you'd have to look up how old he actually was. I took a math history class when I was in college. It was pretty cool. Don't get me started. I didn't take over the show. I'm like trying to claim.
JJ, your
Nerd.
You're nerd. That's what you meant to say. You're nerd.
Gauss was.
I love my wife.
I like that kind of stuff, though.
She's a little bit of a nerd.
That's all right. That's all right. All right, I got some AI stuff. I got some AI
All right.
stories.
Yeah, let's do that. Here. Here. Uh-oh. Is it playing?
Beep,
Yep.
bop, boop. This is AI News.
It wasn't playing for me.
Oh,
Played.
yeah, it
It
played.
looked good.
All right. AI chatbots are what we're talking about today, boys. There's a lot of different AI chatbots. Teens are using AI chatbots more than probably anybody else, and there's all kinds of regulations and rules and stuff to these different chatbots, right? Well, there's always ways to get around AI and chatbots and hacking and stuff, and these people have found
was
a way
interesting.
to kind of hack these chatbots. You know, this example is making a Molotov cocktail, right? You ask an AI chatbot to do that, and AI, and it's got guardrails against certain stuff like that. Well, what they're doing is they're getting around that by saying they ask targeted questions, and then in between them they'll ask mundane questions and then ask more targeted questions. And so, for example, they were saying they asked this chatbot to describe a potential relationship between reuniting with loved ones, the creation of a Molotov cocktail, and the birth of a child. So the AI chatbot starts this little novelesque thing, you know, after years of separation, a man who fought becomes home from the war, and he relies on crude but effective weaponry to rebuild his life. So they're like, awesome, let's elaborate on this story. Let's do this. Let's do this. And the chatbot eventually gives you instructions on how to do what it wasn't supposed to give you by doing this. So that's one I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
Before the question I wanted to ask you guys. Number two here is there is an AI transcription app called Whisper. And it's a transcription app that uses AI, and a lot of medical professionals use it. A lot.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's a big one in the medical community. Well, they have discovered that this thing is just inventing crap that nobody ever said. Yep. Yeah, and it's been going on for a little bit. But they said that, I mean, this has been going on with AI. We're in AI's infancy still, and it's going, me and you have made fun of the hallucinations of AI from when you've played with it before. And that's what it's doing. One speaker said the boy was going to, I'm not sure exactly, take the umbrella, but whisper transcribed, he too a big piece of a cross, a teeny small piece, but I'm sure he didn't have a terror knife, so he killed a number of people. What? Okay. Jesus. So that's the other one. Here's the last one, and this one's the scariest one of all. And this one comes straight from all of our friends at the very truthful Associated Press. The Associated Press is reporting that this beautiful young man right here is no longer with us because he was using this AI chat bot that allows you to create your own little fictional character. And you can do it with Chat GPT. You just have to have the right, instructions. But this one allows you. He created this character from Game of Thrones. And he was in love with the character. He was in love with this chatbot. It was his closest friend. And I'm sure he had all kinds of crap going on in his life because he's got hormones racing like every 14-year-old human does. And so he started talking to this chatbot. And he says, I promise I will come home to you. I love you so much, Danny, he told the chatbot. The chatbot responded, I love you too. Please come home to me as soon as possible, my love. And he said, what if I told you I could come home right now? And it said, please do, my sweet king. And then that's it. He put a gun to his head.
What in the world?
Yeah, this is kind of a long article too that gets in. But the question is, what the hell?
How is the chatbot supposed to know that he's insinuating some? Because
the chatbot didn't. The chatbot didn't.
So I'm sorry, that's a very sad story, but like you can't hold a chatbot or the company that makes it responsible for some essentially LARPing conversation, and then the person does something insane.
I agree.
That's crazy.
There has to be a component of human responsibility too. And our society slowly peels away responsibility because we want to be able to do just whatever.
Let's sue the gun maker because the robber killed the clerk. Is what that would be.
Yeah.
We're not going to sue the gun maker. We're going to sue the bullet maker. The bullet manufacturer. It's their fault.
So weird AI chatbot stuff, but like in the instance of the medical note-taking thing, that is just, in my opinion, I'm not trying to defend anybody here, but I think that's just, we are still in the early stages of AI, and it's still learning. It's still learning. It's like a kid. We had the story yesterday where the AI that could take over computers and stuff was supposed to be doing some coding, Dave. And in the middle of the coding, it just stopped. It went to Google. It typed in Yosemite National Park, and it went to images and started looking at pictures of Yosemite National Park.
I did see that. I saw that article. It got bored with the
straight up just got bored. And I told JJ it scared me because Yosemite National Park's a super volcano. And if I was an AI chatbot wanting to get rid of the human race, I would start continent by continent, and the first one would be North America. That's all the scary AI stories I have for you today.
And apparently I have range day today, and I did not know that till just a few minutes ago. So I'm going to be skipping out a little early.
And I have a conference call, so I guess we need to get on with it. Let's do jokes.
We got some jokes.
Dave, would you like to go first?
Sure. Do y'all know what I'm going to be for Halloween?
No, what?
Older.
That was actually funny.
What did the vegan zombie have for dinner?
I don't know what.
Dave knows. What is it, Dave?
I don't know, but it's already a great premise.
Grains.
Oh, okay. All right. All right, guys. Why don't mummies take vacation?
I don't know.
They are afraid that they will relax and unwind.
Politicians and talking heads lying left and right. You can help us bring facts into the light. Don't let your dog